Stage 2 between TSM, FTX versus Disrupt.
All right, let's see how this one goes. We'll start off with the operator ban phase, Thatcher. So nothing interesting going on there. That is not a counter ban. That is not a target ban. That is it's Thatcher. Yeah, let's get rid of him. See what Disrupt does. It looks like they're going to lean into it. Oh, boy. Okay, so we don't need to look at the stats of the operators for either team in this situation because they clearly have their intentions on display. With a Maverick ban into a Thatcher ban, you completely debilitate using hard destruction. Now, on most sites on this map, there are still ways to get those walls open without bringing a Kali. But you have to go kind of approach that in roundabout directions. It's not as fun. It's not as easy. Last two bans will be Wamai and Valkyrie. Those are two very standard and expected bans, so nothing crazy going on there. This is going to be a very different Chalet than what we're used to seeing. I still think...
Tier 3, Tier 2. Well, you can't do that against Tier 1 teams. You're going to get absolutely punished for it. And he got knocked for a loop in the first game or two, just having pretty abysmal survival stats. And you're absolutely right. Those are mistakes that you don't need to make. Yeah, they work against worse opponents, but you're not going to be able to thrive off of that at the top level. So as long as DP Fire, who's going to be playing Zofia, a relatively safe operator to start off with, as he's playing Zofia, as long as he doesn't make too many mistakes, I think he'll be in a pretty good place here. So with that said, we're back in the action, and the very first defense is going to be Bar Gaming on the first floor.
All right, so we're talking about sites on Chalet, and this is all a big conversation. The reason for that is the map, as Parker talked about earlier, is frankly really, really attacker-sided. Now, not as much in the NAL as it was at the Six Invitational. Six Invitational was extremely attacker-sided, ridiculous numbers. In the NAL, it is 55% attack success rate, so that's a really good number for the attacking side. Now, for Stage 1, the best site, without question, was Kitchen, but that's because it wasn't played very often, had a 70% success rate for the defenders. Second, and most played, was Bar Gaming, with a 50% success rate for the defenders. The other two sites lose way too often. So you're going to see Bar as the mainstay. For number one, it's because it's played most often and teams are used to it. Number two, it's because it has a solid defensive success rate compared to the other sites.
I think that last part needs to be said the most compared to the rest of the sites. And well, I mean, if you're a defender, you don't want to be forfeiting deaths too early. And Merc did not get the memo on that. He's upstairs with Bolo not too far off to try and refrag, but there's not really much he can do. Very first pick is going to go to Disrupt. And Bolo trying for one on his own, playing by the piano, but he's sandwiched. He's going to get pinched out if he's not aware of what happens next.
So it looks like we have a technical pause. The game is rolling on from our perspective, so that might be why that was a little bit confusing for a second there, as we didn't get the memo, hey, this isn't happening right now. Not sure exactly what's going on with this technical pause, but we'll surely find out as quickly as we can. We can get you back into the action ASAP. Again, we beg your patience here. It has been a really long time, and look there, we've got the action up and ready. You didn't miss anything in particular. And Bolo's going to get the first and second kill for his team before DP Fire shows up to shut him down. Huge frags. He'll even get a second. His first two, and he'll get control of the top floor, leaving Chala the last player on TSM.
Frost's pick rate as an operator has continued to climb right now, and I'll tell you this, it's not necessarily just because of the gun. There's still good fragging potential here, as Chala narrowly misses out on an opportunity of one of the three remaining members from Disrupt. Still posted up at the top of the stairs, looking towards Fireplace and the double door leading over towards Office, and Games and everything else on the northern side of the map. ADS is in action. You can see the blue lights mean that they can grab those projectiles or throwables quite easily, but the thing is that where Chala is positioned, it's not close enough to the bomb site, so he has to take matters into his own hands, and he'll sit and wait, play a little bit safer down below. Problem is that there's a lot of avenues for the attackers to be able to find him and punish him from this spot. There's destruction that can be had upstairs, and furthermore, there's some that can come through Bar, but Chala finds one. Pivots towards the main stairs, and that's where his sight is going to be. The job for Disrupt getting a little bit harder. Chala A little bit less weight on his shoulders. So he'll wait for now, watching that door. Anticipating a drop, potentially. There's no hard breachers up for DG. Looking the wrong way. Chala takes down Iconic into a 1v1 versus Shuttle. The best performing player from Disrupt against Chala. But Chala wins those. Just doing Chala things to give TSM the very first round.
Massive round there from Chala. It was all but lost. And I was about to commend Disrupt for their patient play on the top floor. They cleared out the roamers. Even though they were losing players early on, they managed to punish TSM for their aggression, and you'd think in a 3 versus 1, which is what that ended up being, they'd be able to corral the last defender and lock him down in a corner, pick him off. But as Parker talked about, Frostkit too good, and on top of that, Chala too good with it. Well played to Chala to isolate those 1 versus 1s, hit some very clean shots there, and not allow himself to be punished for his solo play. Huge save for TSM, though. I do have to mention that. That early game really went well for Disrupt. If they could transfer that into round wins, we'll see this go a very different way. TSM need to be careful on the roams.
Well, that whole entry from Disrupt showed issues with proper coordination, right? You got that leadoff pick onto Merc upstairs in bedroom. That's great. Huge, in fact. And a very quick amount of droning should show you that you have control over Solarium if you want it. The stairs leading up to Trophy, there was a vigil down below, so that might have thwarted your entry. But you should realize that Office, barring the single doorway that Bolo is playing near on the piano, you've got control of Office, you can have control of Master, you can take control of Solarium, and there's plenty of windows for you to be able to rappel in, and this isn't the old chalet. You can go onto the roof and very easily rotate to one of those windows and get in. But Bolo is allowed to play this position on piano and pivot so gracefully. Taking 2 down, and finally we see Disrupt get control of Solarium, and that's where the damage that DP Fire is able to do comes from. He picks up 2 and puts his team in an excellent position. While the rest of Disrupt are upstairs, they've got 40 seconds left to find the final member of TSM. They fell into a bit of a trap that tends to happen with teams that aren't as well coordinated. They staggered their pushes 1 by 1 by 1, and because of that, it was very easy for Chala to just play off of the natural flow of the site, the rotates that were created, the line of sights that were created, and the fact that that bomb site actually has quite a lot of walls that you can't shoot through, which meant that he was in an advantageous position in every single heads-up gunfight.
So once again, obviously, briefly trying to figure out what's going on. Technically, there is some sort of issue that appears to be recurring. I don't know what that issue is. We do know that the round at least should still be for TSM FTX. So not a huge deal for the players other than the pausing here. I think this is going to be good for TSM, though, because I do think that they need to reconsider some of the structure there. I mean, Disrupt do too. As you mentioned, I mean, it's both teams who are going to need to feel themselves a little bit more moving forward. Part of that is Chalet, and part of that is the fact that we haven't had a LAN play in a long time. It's been a while, Parker.
I mean, it has been, and we always speculate when a team brings out a map for the first time in regards to, you know, is it because they've been practicing it? Well, Disrupt did not compete at the 6 Invitational. Their roster move had been hinted at and rumored online for such a long period of time that, you know, they've been playing with this team long enough that they're going to be ironing things out. They're going to be working on things in the background. I would speculate that they're coming to this map assuming that they have an upper hand over a potentially weakened TSM. I don't know how you would weigh in on this in particular, but throwing Pojo into the mix in place of Geo would, to me, suggest that TSM are not at full strength. Not that Pojo's a bad player, but you're going to need some time for him to settle into that role, as Geo's the one who's been playing with the team for so long. So yeah. DG's had a lot of time here to find their footing, and I mean, it's just one round, and we are in many ways just killing time speculating until we get into the second round. But I do think that there is a working theory in regards to whether or not DG are fully prepared for this map.
Yeah, I definitely can sense that speculation. I will say, with the bans being what they are, It's like I mentioned in the ban phase, it's going to be very different, so the preparation will be different. The thing is, though, Disrupt were the ones to ban the Maverick, which means they expected the Thatcher ban, they banned into it deliberately, so they have to be prepared at least in that way, and it will help them when they get onto defense. Apart from that, we still need more rounds to make a true determination on whether either of these teams really are prepared. So let's give it some more time. First round was a little bit sloppy for both teams. Chalice play managed to clutch it up. Now we're going into round number 2 finally. Very long first round. And we're going to see the differences that the feel up of the first round will make.
By the way, Chala running that new seasonal skin that dropped with North Star, so you're capable of getting that for your weapons as well. It is the lone universal seasonal skin as far as I'm aware, unless there are more that happen to be in the battle pass. But it's just us talking about cosmetics right now. 40 seconds burned off of the clock, and well, the newest member of Disrupt is going to go toe-to-toe with the oldest member of TSM, Pojo, on the stairs, and they both take a beating for it. Roughly about the same HP, but Pojo with a bit of an advantage. First kill this round goes to TSM. The Nitro cell that's found, but Achieved pays for it, with DP Fire being posted up in the same spot. I don't know if that call was made or if Achieved was just really feeling something, but regardless, it doesn't work out in favor of TSM, and it puts these teams back on equal footing.
Now, with that equal footing, a pause before the coming storm. This is, of course, a dining defense. These teams need to consider how they want to treat each other. The clear on the southwest side has been, I think, finished now. No defenders there. Looks like TSM wants to post up in the site. Try and play off of the time more than anything. And that makes sense, because on Chalet, you're very shallow map. You can get to the site quickly as these hackers. So if these roamers can just slow things down, they're doing their job well. And that's exactly what these TSM roamers are trying to do. Merc and Bolo upstairs, just trying to slow things down as much as possible.
And Merc is sitting in a strong spot, watching the opening towards the site, right next to one of those volcanic shields. He's going to run out and get detected. His position given away now, and the ADS in front of him will eat one of those as a grenade goes off, and Merc is losing out on everything he had going for him. He's hoping that the rest of his team can accomplish something, and well, from the HP that was just taken off of Shuttle, I'd say so far, so good. EG realized that if they isolate the roamers upstairs, they've got carte blanche to just push into the site, so why not do that? The only person who could potentially stop them in their tracks is Merc, who, after that brief bit of attention, has been almost completely forgotten about, sitting over top of the B bomb, still waiting, still patrolling the same areas. Bolo not too far off. Nice shot from him. Shuttles down for the count. Retro will need to charge into the site, but that's exactly where Merc is going to be looking. Iconic takes out Pojo. Merc's still above. Diffuser down as well, as TSM are finding everything they need. DP Fire will need to get this plant down, but he's finished off from Merc above. Once again, the inability for Disrupt to clean Merc out of his spot, and Chala, still being alive, ends up giving a second round for TSM.
Yeah, so Merc played in office through that whole round. And you saw Shuttle playing on Ego. Honestly, I thought that Shuttle was going to make the push into office. I thought he was going to punish the position that Merc was playing, but no. Disrupt decided, okay, we're going to destroy the shield and he'll just leave. Merc didn't leave. I think he learned a lesson there from Six Invitational. I think a lot of teams learned lessons from the Six Invitational. One of the things that I noticed there was that North America has a tendency to retreat from their roams without actually truly being forced out of a roam. So what I mean by that is Merc was playing in office that round. I feel like maybe pre-SI, TSM, they might have just called Merc to fall out of that position, or not even play such an extended position in the first place. Maybe he doesn't get to hold from above then, and it goes a little bit differently for TSM. But the knowledge and that they learned from SI, the awareness of the control they could have above dining, I think that went a little bit far. Now, I might just be grasping at straws here. That's just how it how it felt to me with the way that TSM played that, Merc in particular. They definitely learned a lot, and I think their Chalet is looking solid.
Well, obviously, I mean, you've got your work cut out for you as Disrupt, going up against, as Jesse put it, the best Chalet team in North America. And the stats, like we said, speaks for itself. We talked about them at the start of the broadcast, but to refer to them again in case you weren't here, Over the last 6 months, TSM's record on this map being added to the competitive map pool puts TSM at 4 wins and 2 losses. So, and one of those losses obviously coming from North America, it was a squeaker of a match, whichever you want to call it, against OXG 5-7, in what was ultimately a pretty pivotal win for OXG on the way to claiming first overall in the NA League, and a debilitating loss of sorts for TSM. For DG, they have not played this map, period, in the last 6 months. So we don't have any data on it whatsoever, but that's what happens when these new stages begin, as teams will bring out new things, and you're hard pressed to find a team that's changed as much as DG has. And well, the fragging potential that we saw from them in stage 1 appears to be carrying over, because despite the fact they haven't gotten around yet, they are cleaning up on the scoreboard no matter what. Shuttle's been down, but the remaining members of DG are all upright. Can't say the same for Achieved or Bolo, as TSM finds themselves in a rough spot. They finish off and secure the kill onto Shuttle. And another now, Chala is having a ball today. Merc as well. We are 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in this round, Michael, and half of the server is dead.
And once again, Parker, it's the roamers staying stalwart. They won't leave their positions. This is a completely different TSM to what I am used to seeing. Usually the roamers, they delay. They fall back after a period of time. Not so here. J9O will get Merc from Trophy Hallway. That's a really big kill, evening things out. He'll creep on into the building, but his position is well known by his opponents, and he's going to be really loud as he starts pushing his way towards the actual site. We haven't seen any site contact yet in this round. We might yet get to, as the timer starts to tick down to the last minute. Pojo Man and Chala both with the 1.5s, but a lot of pressure on Pojo Man here, as he's the only one with full HP on his team.
Chala has 5 kills to his name, by the way, because the 3 that didn't count make that 6 came from before the rehost, and he's going to look for another with Retro, the last one standing for Disrupt. TSM looking to complete the cycle. They won the previous 2 rounds. Retro's got his work cut out for him. He's got time to work with, 30 seconds. Pojo Man and Chala are both very low, so this round is by no means over for TSM, but with Chala in his position, you can't best this man. All 3 rounds, the kills have been secured by Chala, and TSM are up 3-0.
Wow. Chala just absolutely nailing Disrupt to the wall. And as a result, it's going to be a tactical timeout here from Disrupt. 3 rounds in a row. Yeah, it's time to take a breather. Think about how they can correct course. Rightfully so. That last round was really interesting. Once again, I want to call focus to the roamers and the fact that TSM's roamers are not falling back. I feel like a broken record, but NA has a tendency to retreat on their roam. Not so here, not today, at least for TSM. Loving that. They are holding their position, making it very difficult for Disrupt. And because Disrupt are not finding the advantageous angles, the situations where they're able to pick out TSM players, they're having trouble with that. Sometimes even Disrupt will get those lead-off picks. Sometimes they'll even put themselves up 2 players. But the follow-through, the hold on the retake from TSM, it's almost non-existent. The pacing for Disrupt is not prepared for what TSM are bringing out.
And I wonder if this technical timeout is going to be able to settle it down. Obviously, Easily will have a chance to talk to his players. No different than we're going to see from Data doing the same to TSM, for the record. And of course, even though he's not behind the bench, their actual coach is going to be in the game. So you've got Data talking to you, but you've also got Pojo Man, who is very aware of the strategies and the intricacies that come with it. And he'll be able to play off of that and give guidance to the rest of the team. And well, we talked about it in the initial poll before we got into the match with Pojo Man versus DP Fire. Who's going to come out on top? Well, the answer was Chala, and we didn't even know it because he wasn't an option, but he's still winning the poll anyway. I hate to bring it up, but it's time for another appreciation post on the subreddit, Michael, for Chala, as he's having an absolute hell of a game so far. TSM completing that cycle. They will go back to the very first site that they started on after the tactical timeout, down to Bar on the first floor.
Yeah, so, I mean, not only is he doing great, but his Frostmats are doing great, too. He actually got a Frostmat kill in the last round. Or I guess...
Was it down onto Shuttle?
Yeah, I don't know. I consider that a kill. If you hit them with the Frostmat, then you win, basically. Congratulations. You won the game. So, yeah, Chala's been doing really well for his team overall, and his influence cannot be overstated. TSM now going for that bar defense, like you said, Parker. Now, I'm curious about this roam. That's my main focus, because TSM extended the roam on the northeast side last round, or last time they defended here, and it didn't work out great for them. Are they going to do it again here?
Are you asking me, Michael, or are you speculating? Because it sounds like you're speculating, and to be honest, I don't have an answer for you, so I'm not entirely sure.
I'm speculating.
I will say this, TSM are bringing a very different lineup from what we saw the first time that they held this part of the map. If you recall, the early pick came out for Disrupt. They took Merc out playing upstairs in bedroom. He was playing on the mute. You immediately had Bolo playing the Mozzie for follow-up, and Achieved was on the Vigil to waste time on the main floor. Well, they have completely swapped up operator roles. Merc is going to be playing on the Mozzie. He's upstairs, not exactly a similar position to either where he was before or Bolo. Down below on the bottom floor is Achieved, and well, are DG going to spend time to drone out all 3 floors of Chalet, or could they potentially forget about the basement and perish should Achieved make a return to the site at some point? Not entirely sure, but anywho.
What we do know is that we've got the pressure on this crossfire set up by TSM. This is a difficult nut to crack if you're the attackers. The shield by Chimney and by the back stairs, it causes a lot of problems. The smoke to push in covers the entry into Library, but it's not going to work out for Disrupt. TSM are too well entrenched. It's just Shuttle and DP Fire now in a 2 versus 4, and they haven't even gotten a lick of control. You've got Pojo Man at the top of back stairs ready to take any fight presented to him, and you still have Merc inside of Library. TSM's stalwart defense on the roam continues to work for them.
Not exactly what you want after taking a timeout, too. You hope that there's some kind of bounce back here, but for now, it hasn't paid off at all. Yeah, you took Bolo out of action, but that's been about it. And Bolo's stats through stage 1 and now somewhat through stage 2, not exactly the most impactful for his team. Merc picks up another kill, his 4th so far through this map. Shuttle will be left in a 1v4. Upstairs, miles away, Pojo takes the fight to him, but Merc collects yet another on the stairs as TSM had full control. You said it, Michael, they never really relinquished the map control that DG needed to take, leaving Disrupt boxed into the northern part of the map over by Solarium and Master, and that's all they got, because the rest of it was held down so effortlessly by TSM, who with these 4 rounds have now taken a majority of the rounds on their defense. They have won the half, and winning your defensive half on Chalet is an incredibly good sign.
Okay. I know I've said it every round so far, and I promise this is the last time, unless Disrupt do this as well. But I just cannot get over how awesome it is to see TSM playing the roam the way that they're playing it. It's basically, we know where the fight's going to come from, and we know that we can win the fight. We also know that we don't need to leave, nor should we, because if we do, the enemy is going to be allowed to set up on site and execute cleanly with the control advantage. So TSM just holds the positions they know they need to hold. They hold those pressure points. If you lose Library control on a bar defense, that's vertical play. Disrupt now gets to play, and that's a huge advantage for them. So you either hold it or you die trying, and that's the philosophy we're seeing on display here from TSM, and I love it. So I wonder if it's going to keep working for them. It so far looks like it will. I want to quickly also reiterate something we've been saying from the beginning with Chalet. This is an attacker-sided map. 4 rounds in a row for the defense. That does not bode well. The one caveat to that is that Maverick and Thatcher are both banned, but I do not personally think that that has directly influenced the scoreline.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the sole reason either. Obviously, Disrupt were the team that banned Mav. We talk about this frequently. Whenever it comes up, if you are banning an operator, the idea is that you are not surprised by that and are able to play around it. Disrupt loves to run Thermite. It is by far and away their most played hard breacher in the hands of Retro, and he can, in many ways, steal a game. But I don't know exactly how effective just a Soul Thermite can be on this map. Keep in mind, Ace is available. He's not banned, but after they took his smokes away and gave them to the Thermite, well, we've seen Ace's pick rate fall. Hibana is also available as well. Nice entry from DP Fire as we're talking all about this Pojo Man on the stairs. And there's the first bit of conflict. Achieve tries to equalize, but can't for now. This is a redo of a similar situation that we saw the last time that Disrupt attacked the same site. Achieved got cleaned out from his position, and Pojo was allowed to live. DP Fire now expending incredible utility to try and get Achieved, and it's his second. Welcome to the show, my friend, as DP Fire have both of the kills for Disrupt so far, and DG is up 5v3 against TSM.
But we've seen this before, Parker, many times through all 4 of these rounds. Really, Disrupt, they tend to get that lead-off pick. They tend to put themselves in the advantage, and then still somehow manage to lose the round. And here it comes, Chala getting the first for TSM. Suddenly, the advantage doesn't look as good as it once did. Here's the thing, though. Disrupt are focusing well on the top floor, and as they get Merc, things change in their entirety. Bolo has to hold upstairs by himself. Chala is exposed to the vertical that Disrupt now has control over. As long as there's no massive throw, this should be Disrupt's round.
Well, never doubt these 2 men out, especially when you've got Chala playing at the level that he is right now. And DG would need to fumble the bag quite hard here. The last time that they tried to attack this site back in round number 2, they had some difficulties clearing out Office, and they went for broke. They got taken out by Merc playing in that strong position. Bolo gets dropped by a nice nade from Iconic, and Chala now down below in what is essentially a role reversal, as he's the one being chased off from the spot that Merc was on before. Chala will attempt to retake. Then calls from the default cams that are up over by Trophy. He'll head back. He's just trying to make some noise. I'm not entirely certain what his thought process is here. He's got a couple avenues to look towards. Gets droned out, so some intel is for him, and he's going to miss the shots onto the Jackal. Can't really isolate targets here, but no way he does that much damage. And he can spray through the smoke, gets the Nomad, but he's out of ammo. Finally, it's not Disrupt who beats him. It's a lack of bullets. And DG finally gets their very first round. It comes in round 5. They're on the board despite TSM having a 4-1 lead.
But Parker, it came so close. A nail biter of a round. And Disrupt really had to put in all the effort to get that one. And as you said, and I think you aptly put, it was mostly because Chala ran out of ammo. He couldn't fight back at that point. It was, you know, he does have 35 in the mag, so that's kind of on him a little bit. But at the same time, wow, imagine the difference that could have made. Either way, though, Disrupt finally there, like you say. And a big part of that is their patience in the middle half of the round. Sorry, not middle half, that doesn't make sense. The second half of the round, or kind of the middle-ish. Basically, after Disrupt got those lead-off picks, instead of rushing to their deaths as they had been doing many rounds prior, they opted to slow down. They got the kills early. They don't need to rush to win the round immediately. They got those picks upstairs to follow up the first 2. Once they had the control upstairs, they used the vertical slowly, and then they were able to isolate a position on the site to plant the diffuser. Or, I mean, they would have planted if Chala hadn't addressed them directly. So I like the way Disrupt played that. They definitely are learning from their mistakes, and that is worth noting.
You don't always see an immediate turnaround after a timeout. Sometimes it can be done just to settle the nerves. Sometimes it can be done because teams are not sticking to the plan. And I mean, say what you will about his experience in Challenger League, but Challenger League is not a substitute for pro play. Competing at this level is a completely different ballgame, and you talk to almost any player that's come from CL, and they'll say the same thing, that there's a massive step up between Tier 2 and Tier 1, which is now where DP Fire is playing. And then it might be nerves. It could just be that maybe the team isn't playing around him to their full abilities. Who knows? But it's not like Disrupt is a team to be slept on. Disrupt not only beat TSM previously in that first stage, but this was also a team that finished in the top 4 here in North America. So it could just take some time for DG to find their footing.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Parker. We do know is it's going to be lead-off pick here for J90. Down goes Achieved, but we've seen this before. Definitely not the round over. Just a great start to this one. And he's going to be able to get the scan onto Merc as well, who's playing by storage. He's actually trapped now between a rock and a hard place. And here come the nades. No ADSs from Merc. First one doesn't do a lot of damage, but it will keep him static. in his position, fearful that he will see a second. Stuns coming in, and down he goes to Iconic. Great follow-up from Disrupt, and the cutoff is there too. Chala will get one on the attempted retake and assist, but it's going to be Pojo from the bar to get the second. EG don't have for control yet, and DP fire from the side entrance, putting some tracers through the wall, trying to shut down Pojo on the cross. He's been winning his fights, so Pojo has to be careful in this situation.
He's still just absorbing some bullets now from above. His shuttle is posted up in that spot. Pojo is not alone, by the way. As much as our focus has been on him, guess who is still available for TSM? It's Chala playing above. I don't know if he's flown under the radar. If there's no flank drone, this could get really nasty. And Chala will look to prey off of it. There's a drone. He just got spotted. So his position now available for Disrupt. Still playing in the same spot. Pojo's good enough for one, but traded out by DP Fire, meaning that Chala's going to have some more work to do. 2v1 for DG as they'll go on to drones. They've got time. 40 seconds left. Chala gets spotted from a drone from below as he was playing off of that hatch up by Library, and now Chala will head over towards Office, which, for the record, is where the bomb site is. Disrupt has spent all of this time downstairs, but the bomb site is up in Bedroom and Office, which Chala's going to now hold on to. They have no intel. No play around the bomb chassis. Here's an air jab going off. Posts up. There's one for him, too. No! A beautiful opportunity for Chala to break double digits this time around, but he's not going to get it. The newest member of the NA League stops him dead in his tracks in the first half in the books. TSM 4-2.
Great save from DP Fire in that 1 versus 1. Many lesser players would have hesitated after their teammate died on the entry, not taken the fight, and not flourished as DP Fire just did. Well done to him. His initiative is spot on. And that's what you want to see out of a rookie player. That's really what you're asking for someone who's just now stepping onto the stage for the first time. So I think it's safe to say, at least for the first half, DP Fire has performed more than admirably. He's actually, I'd say, the top performer for his team, and that's reflected in the stats as much as it is in my sentiment.
Well, side swap comes in, and first half was an interesting one. When we look at the fact that this is an attacker-sided map, still, to the best of our knowledge, is not changed at all. This is still a map that obviously favors the aggression that comes with the attackers, and thank God teams have stopped trying to defend Garage down below. They kept just throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the wall, and well, guess what? None of it ever worked. The success rate for the defense down on that bottom floor was abysmal. So because of that, and they've changed up the rotation, maybe the defenders have more of a fighting chance. And things will settle down a bit. Once you learn the ebb and flow of a map and the meta that evolves around that map, it is entirely possible that it will get a little bit more even between the attackers and the defenders. But what we've seen so far doesn't necessarily convey to me that this was an attacker-sided map. In many ways, I do honestly believe that Disrupt just needed some time to settle in. And now that they're here, they look like they're working more as a team than before, and that will bode well for them. The only thing that I will keep in the back of my mind is what we just said, is that this is still an attacker-sided map, even if it is slight, and that will benefit TSM.
Question is, how are they going to deal with the clash? And you do have the tools at your disposal, plenty of nades to use. And while Retro won't die to one nade, you can still stack nades on them and on a shield, and it'll die eventually. There's no Zofia, there's no Kali, which I know you might laugh at that, but with a Thatcher Maverick ban, that is a possibility. So it's going to be an ordeal dealing with that clash. We'll see what methods TSM employ. Right now, it seems like it's just going to be a hard roam upstairs for Disrupt, and I like what I'm seeing from them too on the roam. I like that, similar to TSM, they are just staying true on the roam, holding it firm, not falling back. That's the way to do it. Something we didn't see out of a lot of North American teams in SI and pre-SI.
The thing that worries me the most about TSM's composition is some of the operators you mentioned being absent. There's a clash up for Disrupt, and if you don't have a Capitao, if you don't have stuns, if you don't have air jabs, you have very limited tools at your disposal to deal with a clash. And you look at the composition that TSM brought this round. Outside of maybe a Flores drone, if it can get close enough, or a grenade, you don't really have anything to deal with the clash of Retro. There's no EMP to slow you down. Thatcher's banned. Zofia wasn't brought at all. There's no Capitao on the board. Nomad is absent too. This is a problem for TSM that they can solve if they just get a couple picks and isolate the clash, but you have to get there first. Now, Bolo's going to try to do that, and somehow he manages to take down Retro. So all of the speculation, Michael, makes me look like a fool because the clash is dropped, and that's bad news for DG. Joining him in the afterlife is iconic DP Fire as well, leaving TSM in a 5v2. Make it a 4v2. Shuttle's able to stop that diffuser from going down as the smoke is 2 of J90 down below, and now diffuser surrendered. But J90, old Jack, he's got more to do. Couple avenues to watch for him. 20 seconds left, staring into that toxic plume. 15 seconds. Nobody's moving a muscle. He can't really see anything. He'll fire away one with him. He connects perfectly well. Plant going down. He hears this. You can hear the case getting opened up, but he's got nothing. Nothing to stop it at all. Just trying to play around it in the post plan. He sees the legs, can't connect, and a hail of gunfire from TSM hits its marks. The very first attack for TSM goes in their favor, and they're up 5-2.
Frankly, that engagement was really unlucky for J90. The way that the shots just didn't land. He was like basically teased on both of those players at the end. Bad timing. It is what it is. Seems like we are going to possibly take a brief pause here. Yeah, looks like it's going to be a rehost, but we'll find out exactly what happens. What we do know is it's going to be a technical timeout either way. Just go ahead and figure out what's going on. Looks like it's an audio bug of sorts, and once we get that sorted, we'll go ahead and resume the action. But that last attack, Parker, what an efficient execution from TSM.
I really wish, and I don't know if this replay is going to show it, it's not as far as I'm aware, but I really want to see how they dealt with that clash because it happened off screen.
Yeah.
The way that Retro was playing suggests to me that he was quite safe. He was keeping his back to a brick wall. You can't shoot through that. He wasn't getting any pressure from Office either. So his perspective and his line of sight was aimed towards Library. At best, he might have had a crossfire established from Fireplace if the wall in Office was opened up. I'm trying to figure it out here because from what I knew of where they were placed, the fact that Bolo was able to get that kill, gun in hand, no real utility expended to do that, is in many ways not necessarily impressive, but in many ways it leads me to believe that's a misplay from the clash, because in a 1v1 engagement like that, with no disruption available for the attackers, that's one of the strongest places you can be as a clash.
I'm trying to think about what it could have been too. I mean, my guess would be he got pushed from Ego Door at the same time as being pushed from the open wall they had by Box. Because, you know, they opened that wall towards Trophy Hall so that they could hold it and the clash could slow down, right? But if he's distracted by Ego Door, he can't look both ways. I mean, they're complete opposite directions. So it might have just been a forced crossfire from TSM. I mean, this is a guess. It's all speculation. We didn't see it. We can technically see it in the replay eventually. So I guess we'll get our answer eventually, Parker.
Yeah, but I don't want to wait.
Yeah, but we have to. I mean, we could ask the players, I guess, but I feel like it'd be really intrusive and distracting for them, you know?
Fair enough. Audio issue looks to be on TSM side of things and is currently being investigated by our sharpest minds and the greatest thinkers and the most technically and technologically proficient people that we have available for us in the entire city of Las Vegas right now. And it appears that it's all Merc's fault. As you can see, unfortunate.
Wow.
Merc, you should have thought about this. All right?
Yeah.
You should have thought about this before you were born with ears.
Right, because audio bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, his fault.
Yeah, it's his fault.
Heck.
Just for the sensitive people on social media, we are kidding.
Yeah.
Conversation had yesterday, by the way, about snark that evolved well past its original point of conversation on social media.
That does happen.
I don't know if you saw that as you were too busy racing around in your brand new automobile.
Hey, I never made any jokes about... Wait, did I make any jokes about your Tesla? No, I don't think I did. Wait, maybe like one.
Probably.
Probably one, I feel like.
I didn't even make a joke about it.
No, it's just that sorry, it's just I'm awkward and I don't know what to say.
For everybody that's aware, Michael bought a car. If you could all do me a favor and congratulate him on that purchase.
Why is that? We don't have to. We don't need to talk about a car. I mean, we can talk about what we had for breakfast. I had an egg on toast. What did you have, Parker?
I made soup, actually, because I woke up a little bit later than usual. I slept in past my alarm today because, you know what, I was feeling spicy. So I had it was mushroom soup, and I had it with some low carb toast. That was my day, and a nice cup of coffee.
That sounds really good, and
it was great.
You sound like that makes you sound really adult too, because you had like the low carb toast. I'm guessing you didn't put any butter on it. It was just super healthy. You put butter on? Okay. Would you use salted butter or unsalted butter?
Unsalted butter, of course. I'm not a maniac, Michael.
Right, of course.
Why do you want salted butter? You salt your own butter, right?
Wait, you do that?
Well, no, but I mean, if you're using it in cooking, you don't want to over salt.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not like cooking. That's butter on toast.
There's more than one practical application.
Well, okay,
I'm sorry, Mr. Fancy Pants. I can afford different types of butter.
I mean, I guess if you're like trying to be healthy, not buying salted butter and just like putting the salt on as you need it for unsalted butter, it's going to be cheaper, number one, and number two, it's going to be a healthier option long term. Oh, hey guys, we got the match ready. So
we're back in the game, and it looked like there was going to be another clash on the board. And as far as TSM might be aware, now that we are done talking about breakfast and/or brunch, depending on how you come down on that argument,
butter.
Get over it. Move past your obsession.
I will.
I was going to say churn your attention somewhere else.
Oh no! You can't say that. We're never going to leave the conversation if you keep making jokes about it.
We are now into round number 8, by the way, and what looked to be a comeback from Disrupt that was brewing after DG went down the first 4 rounds, stormed back by taking the final 2 rounds of their attacking phase. Well, they're now on defense, and this is not a favorable map to the defenders. More often than not, TSM appeared to buck that trend. And TSM absolutely pulverized DG on their very first attack, as it appears that we have gone back to the norm. So we'll see what TSM is capable of doing now, as it's a second crack at attack for them. And they're going to start by taking Solarium. DP Fire has been a standout so far for Disrupt, and that's where he's posted up. An early death to DP Fire could be particularly debilitating to DG.
Certainly could be. We saw TSM recover from a lot of early deaths when they were on defense, but we don't know if DG has that same capability in this second half. And early on, TSM are going for a direct clear, it seems, on the dining side. Less of a full clear. They are doing the top floor too. I don't know if they're going to clear out library, though. That's the big question in my head, because a lot of teams, they'll just say, nah, too much effort, and they'll focus their efforts elsewhere. We'll see what they do here. It definitely could go either way, as TSM's set up for both a direct and an indirect clear. They can commit to whatever they want. Interesting fact here is that Disrupt are not roaming very aggressively. It's a super passive roam, and that might change the outcome of this round. It might actually favor TSM, frankly.
Now, J90's position is in such a way that you'd think he'd be exposed to the window, but he's not. There's a bookshelf there that will prevent him from being both spotted and wall-banged by Achieved, but his position has been given away. There's a hatch in front of him, and he very quickly is able to get out of there. Now, if Achieved was to vault through that window looking down below, there'd be some danger lying in wait, as the Kaid had a kill hole underneath him. Iconic, all the while, was very close to the position the Kaid was playing. Just by the stairs of Library, he gets forced off of his spot. It's going to leave just DP Fire in this position. Playing by Fireplace, and he'll be around the Goyo shield. The advance of TSM is very close, and I don't know if they've droned it out or not. There's almost some team damage done by Merc. That could have been a particularly damaging blunder.
Well, it's DP Fire still up in Library, and he's trying to hold on. He will do some damage to Merc, but it's given back in turn, and he'll die to the Goyo Fire detonated by Bolo. C4 from below will get Bolo in turn, though, so it's a back and forth here. Only one player down for each team, though.
Iconic inside a mudroom with a lurker down playing in the basement. Shuttle on the Goyo could come back to strike fear into the hearts of whoever on TSM doesn't look in that direction. Og in the hands of J90 wipes out Pojo, man. Once again giving DG this numbers advantage with both Bolo and Pojo out of action. It means that the hard breachers are gone, so you don't have to worry too much if you're the defense about any of those hatches staying hard or not. Chala looks the wrong way, not expecting there to be two in the back bar stock, and Retro pays for it, or Retro makes him pay rather. And J90 cleans things up with an earlier kill that'll give him 3 on the round. DG are capable of bouncing back and playing around a bar gaming defense. And on this second half of the map, it's now tied 1-1. Still an edge to TSM as they're up 5-3.
You saw on the camera there, DP Fire definitely very hyped up. Love to see that. It's the right energy to be bringing to these situations. He did die early, but his team won the round, and that's what's most important. So Disruptor's still in this. They're in fact now just 2 rounds away from bringing us to an even round count. Given the results of the first half, that would be very impressive for Disrupt. That last round played out in a very interesting way. TSM focused their efforts mainly upstairs, and it actually almost worked out great for them. It could have gone a lot worse. One thing I want to call attention to was the fact that J90 got droned in library deep and decided to leave rather than stay, and that's why DP Fire ended up dying without really influencing anything directly. He didn't have the assistance from his teammate and the crossfire that brings, or the refrag potential that brings, so he couldn't really confidently take any gunfights and hold on to his spot. He actually ended up trying to run away, and he ran to his demise. It was kind of funny, frankly. That's the type of play we see from the roamers. Again, free SI in North America. And I was shocked when I saw none of that from TSM in their first half. I think it makes all the difference personally, and I hope that Disrupt doesn't keep doing that. I don't even think they're intending to. That fallback there from J90 leaving DP upstairs or DP Fire upstairs by himself, I don't think that was intentional.
I'm not entirely certain, and I mean, we try not to speculate on this kind of stuff because we don't have the full vantage point, but
I just did.
I know, but that's part of the job.
Sure, yeah.
You can't really avoid it. So you're going to be in a position where there will be periods of time where we are paid to give our opinions, and no matter how bad those opinions are, oh boy, we are giving them.
Yeah, maybe I'm really stupid. I don't know. I'm myself. It's hard to judge.
No comment.
Which chat will tell me.
No comment.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone in the chat will go ahead and inform me about that one.
Excuse me, viewers of the North American League. Do you think that Kickstar is stupid? Yes or yes in the chat, please.
I got the big dumbs.
Anywho, that was a big round for Disrupt. A 6-2 hole with TSM on attack would have been almost impossible to climb out of. So Disrupt shows that they still have a little bit of life left in them. Now they're going to try to ride this wave as long as they can, and if there's any momentum to be had in this game, well, they better be able to grab it. This is a bomb site upstairs in bedroom. And Shuttle immediately in this position. Down below in kitchen, he's going to be isolated with the smoke tossed out by Merc. It might prompt Shuttle to have to reposition.
Interesting smoke. I'm not sure if that was intentional. I'm not sure what. Like, it wouldn't have accomplished anything, or didn't accomplish anything. So I think he maybe was trying to get the smoke somewhere else, like maybe here, maybe it fell through the floor.
I think it was so that they could cross unimpeded, because if you think about it, if you want to take control of lobby and get up to library stairs, you're going to need a smoke there. And that's exactly what Merc did.
Definitely possible, but what we do know is that TSM haven't lost anyone, maybe thanks to that smoke, and they have set themselves up outside the breach by Office. They do still need to deal with the players of Piano. This is a great angle for Retro to play. You can see he's got an angle onto the breach. He can stop the push-in, and he's dealt with just like that. Merc is a menace on the Piano window, and he'll get the lead off for TSM.
And Merc hears the barricade being prepped by DP Fire inside a bathroom, so his attention is in that particular direction. Because the numbers favor TSM, they can tie up DP Fire for as long as they want. Pojo's down for the count, though. J90 has picked up 4 kills so far through these 2 rounds. They got 5. A double kill for him in this round with Diffuser surrendered, and he's still in a powerful position. Bolo now is next one in line, getting shocked by the Electroclaw as he trudges on in, and Explosive will need to be the thing to stop him. Watching over his shoulder, Chala, ensuring that nobody can rotate out of Master. And he goes, Diffuser planted, and Chala with the fadeaway shot onto Iconic as he now heads on over towards Balcony. DP Fire picks up his first kill in the round. Merc still watching, waiting by Piano, taking some damage. It's just him and Chala to try to hold this one together. Chala's got 13 kills so far. Merc picks up another, the 2v2. I'm at about half on this Diffuser, so if you're Disrupt, you're going to have to get going, and you're going to have to do so quite quickly. No real utility remaining for either Merc or for Chala, so this is just going to be an outright brawl. Chala can throw out 2 of those SAM cams, those Argus launchers if he wants. There they go. Onto the diffuser. Shuttle getting there as close as he can. J90 gets swung on by Chala. He's stopped, but the timer runs out. Doesn't matter. It was past 7 seconds. Merc still finishes off the Mira, and it's match point for TSM.
Big round for TSM, but a worse round for Disrupt. Crucially, the diffuser got planted. And why is that? It's that pick right there that we just saw at the first replay. It's the death of your smoke at the leadoff of the round. The fact that Retro couldn't stay alive on Piano to later deny the plant with his gas canisters, or even just deny the cross to default plant through the breach in the wall. That's his main job. That's the responsibility of your smoke. And it's exactly what we didn't see from Disrupt. Despite that, Disrupt still managed to pick up a lot of kills on the entry from TSM. And you'd think with those punishments, Disrupt would be able to turn it into a win, but they didn't have any C4 left. There were no options for the defenders to indirectly deny the plant. The Mira had proximity alarms. So
what are you saying?
Well, I'm not really sure.
What are you trying to say?
I mean, I'm trying to say I need to double check that she didn't lose her C4 in this update, because I don't remember reading that, but maybe she did, and I don't want to look like an idiot, so I'm gonna check the Wikipedia.
You mean like that one time that you said that Thatcher didn't have a shotgun?
Yeah,
God, that would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Because he didn't for the longest time, for like
yeah, but
2-3
he did
years.
when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Remember how embarrassing that was?
Yeah, it was embarrassing. I mean,
Very embarrassing.
It was weird because I didn't know they added it. I've been playing since the beta. Things change. It's wild.
Don't worry, they could do a montage of all my embarrassing moments and the things I say on this broadcast. So you're in good
I have
company.
a lot of embarrassing. I've had some embarrassing moments for sure.
Anywho, it was a huge round from TSM, and you're going to look towards the blunders that potentially could have been committed by DG. They're going to run a similar lineup to what we saw before. J90 quarterbacking downstairs inside of Kitchen, with Retro up top playing in the nook of Office.
Yeah, no, I think she still has Nitro, as far as I can tell.
She does.
So yeah, it's just a mistake there for their shot, or for I think it was Shuttle, for their Mira to not have a C4, and that could have been another layer of indirect denial for the plan. Anyway, that mission
Could have been a strategic decision as well, right? We don't know entirely.
He didn't place them, Parker. He had them in his pocket.
Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe it was. Maybe it was it was demoralizing.
Maybe. Oh, the nade from below!
We got to see it this time, though. A grenade from below takes out Retro. He's felled, and it's a finish up by Merc. Merc and Chala now have both broken double digits on their side of things. J90 is at a hot second half, and they're going to need a big round from him now as TSM have a numbers advantage on match point.
Wow. I mean, that was also Gigabrain from Merc. He totally baited Retro. Retro was staring at him. DP fire, though, gonna get Merc as he tries to push in by himself. And that refract, well, not really a refract, that trade, at least, is going to bring this a lot closer. Disrupt in a better position, especially as Merc is one of the top performers for TSM through this match.
Yeah, that's a rough one for TSM to lose, and not only that, but the smokes could be so entirely impactful. As far as I'm aware, we did not see the Jackal toss out either of those smokes. So for Merc, you don't really get to impact the action as much as you want. One of the newest additions to the Spectator, you'll see it says Chala.tsm next to Merc's icon. That means that Merc is spectating for Chala, whether that could be just him sitting on those Argus launchers or not. Sam cams, whatever you'd like to call them. This puts 40 seconds with the obvious goal in the hands of TSM. They're the ones that are on attack, so they've got their work cut out for them. Breach the site, get that diffuser down. The objective play has been quite weak so far across this map. Only one diffuser for TSM thus far, but why get the diffuser down if you can just rack it up on the kill feed? And that's what they're going to do. Pojo walks in, ices Iconic, and then starts to plant the diffuser. He's going to have to fall off, though, as he gets about 50% of his HP taken away. J90 has been indisputably the best player for Disrupt on the second half, but could we potentially see him steal the round away? The smoke will stop Pojo, but Achieved is on his heels, and TSM takes the very first game of Stage 2 Playday number 1.
Well played to TSM FTX. They really brought that one home. And they were the better team on Chalet, indisputably. So the speculation from us in the analyst desk is accurate. They're comfortable here. Their strategies were solid. Their roaming was especially really potent, I guess is the right word. And yeah, you got to hand it to them. TSM knew what they were up to on Chalet. Disrupt, though, put up a really respectable fight. They made some crucial mistakes. And I'm going to go ahead and reference that second to last round one more time. When Disrupt tried to defend the top floor, proximity alarms instead of C4 on Mira. That's an oof. He didn't even place the proxy alarms. The smoke dying on Piano early. That's an oof. He didn't deny at all. Didn't use his gas canisters. That really sucks. The plant going down as a result. There's no way for you to retake in that post plant when you've lost too many tools like that. So, well played to TSM. They picked apart Disrupt one piece at a time.
Ultimately, not the beginning matchup that you want for this Disrupt team, whose identity has been getting younger and more agile as of late, and they run into, well, the team that finished the best out of all non-Latin America teams at all of SI. So TSM obviously still red hot after their SI performance. DG, well, you've still got plenty of play days to try to make up for lost time. Our very first matchup is in the books, Michael, but there's still plenty more to go. Before we get there, we'll throw to a break and we'll see you in just a couple minutes.